So by now, I'm sure you guys have seen ads for Dungeon Defenders on Xbox Live and PlayStation Network or through Steam. And many people out there are wondering, what is Dungeon Defenders? Well, first off, it's awesome. We're going to just start there. This game is one of those games that just kind of snuck up on me. It looked like a very interesting game. Looked like a little dungeon crawler, action-adventure, RPG type thing. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. It turns out that Dungeon Defenders actually takes two different gameplay elements and mixes them together. You have part tower defense game, and then you have your action RPG type game. The way Dungeon Defenders does this is they break the game into two separate phases. First, you have the build phase. The build phase is where you go ahead and obviously you build your defenses. You start off by looting treasure chests and you get the mana from there. Later on, as the game progresses and you go through different waves, you pick up mana from fallen enemies, and this is how you get more mana, which is your currency in the game. And you can go ahead and upgrade your defenses, you could add more turrets, you can basically just make it however you need to. And that's really, to me anyways, that's the best part of the game. The game allows you to know where the enemies are coming from, and how many of them will be coming out of there. So this way there's no surprise, and you can go ahead and build the defenses that you need to. The biggest thing is resources. They only give you X amount of resources, and sometimes there's more guys than there are resources. So you have to choose very carefully how you go ahead and set up your defenses. But here's where the X factor comes in, the combat phase. You're not just some overlord just watching the battlefield and, you click your mouse and you can go ahead and upgrade this or heal that. No, you're actually there. If you want to go heal something, you have to go and run to it and repair that turret or whatever it is. You have to do it yourself. You can also go ahead and if you have an area that's not fortified enough, you can be the extra fortification. Just go in there and help defend that area and keep the other areas secure with the automated functions. Or if you're doing really well and your defenses are really strong, you can just kind of chill out and watch the hordes and hordes of enemies just get wiped out. The reason why I say this game's so awesome is because it's very satisfying seeing your little master plan play out. This is something tower defense fans have experienced for years. But being an actual character inside the world while this is all going on, and being able to dramatically affect the outcome, that's a new experience that I've never played before. And it really enriches the experience. As I've said, this has RPG elements to it as well. Not only do the enemies drop mana, they drop items. You can go ahead and pick them up, you can swap them out with your current gear, or if they're not better, you can go ahead and just sell them in as trash, and then you get more mana for that. Even when you're not in main combat, you still need mana. The game has a tavern, which is kind of your home base, I guess you can say, where you have a tavern keeper and you can go ahead and buy stuff from him. And unlike a lot of games, he actually has some really cool stuff. You can actually go ahead and buy a pet, which will help follow you around, give you more buffs. They can be offensive, they can be defensive. And to be honest, they're really expensive, so collecting extra mana and not spending it all in the matches is actually pretty important, because it'll allow you to buy these other items. Dungeon Defenders also has a 4-player co-op mode, which after playing this game myself for a while, I've been begging my friends to go ahead and pick this up. This is a game that will be great to play with your friends. The reason why it would be really interesting is there are 4 different character types you can play in the game, and each one has their own defenses. So when you're playing with more people, you can go ahead and come up with different combinations on how to defend points. Hopefully after seeing this review, they'll pick it up and we can get some co-op going. The graphics in Dungeon Defenders is pretty straightforward. It's a cartoony sort of style, but the colors are very vibrant and the shading and the lighting are very good in this, and everything's very detailed. So even though it's not going to win the Best Graphics of the Year award, they look really good for what they were going for, and they give a very lighthearted feel to the game. Unlike a lot of other tower defense games, Dungeon Defenders is very calm, very laid back. It's very forgiving. For example, if your character dies within the match, you just wait a few seconds and respawn. A lot of people would think, whoa, well, that's going to make it easy. Well, in those few seconds, usually your eternity crystals, which are the points that you need to defend, are probably getting smashed and you're going to lose. So dying is still not a good thing. But you're not punished if you accidentally fall off a cliff or something. The way you upgrade your character in this game is obviously they have a standard leveling system. And you can go ahead and upgrade your defense, your health, your attack speed. You know, your pretty standard fare stuff there. You can also go ahead and upgrade your defenses. You can upgrade their attack rate. You can go ahead and upgrade their defense, their health, their range. And you have to pick how you want to spread out your points pretty strategically. A lot of people would think, well, just beef up your defenses and there you go. Makes life real easy. Well, Dungeon Defenders kind of throw something into the mix that will change your mind. Every once in a while, there are boss battles. And the bosses go ahead and generally bypass your standard defenses that keep all the other enemies out. So in my case, I had to go mano a mano with a giant demon lord. And not gonna lie, I got my butt kicked. There is a way to use mana within the game, like you can go ahead and repair your defenses. You can go ahead and heal yourself. But when you're fighting one-on-one with this giant hulking monster guy, you don't exactly have a whole lot of time to do that. So casting speed, your health, everything is very important. So you have to balance everything out. The items in this game also add perks to your health, your attack, stuff like that. But they also go ahead and add to your defenses as well. So you have to also look into that. So if your gear is really buffing up your turrets and everything really good, you should probably focus your leveling points on your character. And you got to kind of watch what you do, because if you switch gear, you might drop your defenses down and then your guy's super duper buffed. So there's a lot of little elements that you have to pay attention to. For a $15 game, I was completely blown away. I was sucked in for hours and hours on end, just having fun, coming up with new strategies to go ahead and beat the crap out of these waves and waves of monsters. Like I said, my friends really aren't aware of how great this game is yet, so I'm doing this all on my own, so I take even more time thinking about it. And I found that the greatest draw to this game. You have to spend a lot of time putting into the strategy of this game, especially a little bit later on. Early on, it's not such a big deal and it's really easy. But once you start getting attacked from crazy angles, you really need to go ahead and sit down and think about it. This is one of those games that it's not punishing though. So even if you lose, the next time you go ahead and get in there, you have a better idea of how to go about it. Overall, guys, this is a must-buy for anybody who likes hack and slash RPG style games, but also likes strategy. And if you like tower defense, this is a new take on that whole genre. For more details, go to www.gamersarmada.com and check out my full written review.